Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to CRL. This is the pre-season race for the CRC Tier 4, and can I say it is an absolute pleasure to be back racing again. I am your host tonight, CRL Freefall, also known as Scott, but fortunately for you, it's not just my voice you've got to put up with tonight, because I have a friend here to help me get by. Steiny, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolute big pleasure to be back once again, and it is amazing. I'm so hyped to finally let's kick off the season 5 with a small pre-race here. But thank you so much for the introduction, dear Freefall, aka Scott, aka Scotty, aka friend. I'm so excited here, and we have quite a little bit to talk about, don't we?
As always, the start of every season is always very hectic. A lot of admin to get through, but I'm sure we'll manage tonight, mate. We've got it in us.
We are ready. We are hyped for the fire, and the fire is going to start here in USA, as everyone else can see. We've got a few viewers as well already in the chat. Welcome, hello, and hiya to everyone. First and foremost to the brothers of the hat admins as well who joined the chat. Everyone else who's joining as well, let us know your questions, let us know the people that you would like to view. Put it in the comments and we'll do the very best to join them on a lap during the race on qualifying. And talking about the race and qualifying, we are going to head to the drivers first and foremost, who are joining our little pre-season race here in USA. And why shall we not start about the one that has already invited us to the session, Mr. Hedgehog. He's one very quick driver from the previous season and one of the top candidates as well, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. Hedgehog, also I had the pleasure of racing with him last season for a few races. His race pace is very strong. He showed that last season, round 4, round Baku, picking up a very solid P2 in the race. Only started with CRL last season, so he's pretty new to the league, but he's definitely one to watch this season. He'll be in the Aston Martin, partnering up as well with Greg's Game Centre. Greg, a veteran of the league, starting off in CRL Season 1. His best result, of course, was a 8th in Brazil.
Yeah,
I think he'll be looking to kick on.
As well.
Yeah, he's a very solid driver. I think he'll be looking to kick on and push on into that top half of the field consistently and challenge for podiums this season. And I would love to see that for him.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Especially, I had a look through the entire last season as well, and Greg was always around the middle field, around P10, P11, and then he had a few races as well, as you mentioned already, with an amazing P8 finish, a higher points finish. But very consistent driver here with us, and it's a pleasure to have him once again in Season 5. Moving further as well, we are going to jump to the Mercedes team, where we have MUFC Harvey with us as well once again, who joined in Season 2, so 3 seasons away. His best result was in Singapore, top 4, P4, an amazing result for him.
Brilliant result. Singapore, obviously it's not the easiest of tracks. Walls are everywhere, weather can be very temperamental, so to get a P4 around that track was a very solid result last season. He's a Pot 1 driver for Mercedes, so he will be looking to kick on and get some good points week in, week out. Possibly even mount a title challenge. It's early doors yet, but I wouldn't write him off either. He's a very solid driver on his day especially. And he's of course partnered up with CRL Digweed, or Pio as we like to call him. Again, a veteran of the community. Was around in Season 1 and 2, had to take a little break for the last 2 seasons, but he's back in with Harvey as his teammate as Mercedes. I haven't seen much of him, I must admit, so I'm quite tentative just to see what he can do. It'll be nice to see where he can set the marker tonight, I suppose.
Absolutely, it's very thrilled always to see new drivers in not only in the tier but also in the entire community of Cone Racing League, and we've got so many new drivers here in Tier 4 for Season 5, and Digweed is just one of those, I think, 10 drivers in Tier 4, so very exciting grid that we are looking at the moment.
Very much. Yeah, 10 drivers new. This is their first season. A lot of them as well, actually, very new to league racing and Formula One itself. Obviously, a brilliant thing to see, getting more people involved in the communities and within it. And can I just say to them, you picked a brilliant place to start off here at CRL. It is a breeding ground of talent if you look up the upper tiers. So yeah, quite a few of them throughout the field. Moving on, we've got the AlphaTauris. Pot 1 driver, Mean Man Moody. Again, been here since Season 2, another staple of CRL. He managed to pick up a 6th place in Baku last season. Again, a brilliant result round Baku. It's so much it can be just a matter of attrition, and keeping that car in one piece to get it round to P6. It was an excellent job by him last season.
Absolutely agree. A great driver, a great personality as well. Mima Moody in the AlphaTauri as well. I'm very glad to call him a constructor teammate now as well, as I'm very happy to be in the AT team as well. But also in the AT team is our newcomer as well, SSS Matthews. He's a Season 5 Pot 2 driver at the moment, but that does not mean that you should count him off some higher podium race finishes. So very exciting, and a very warm welcome to you as well, to Cone.
Absolutely, wishing them all the best, and the rest of the new drivers. I can't wait to see what they've got in them, see what they can put down tonight, and I'm really hoping they set the bar high, because I think this grid is going to be very scintillating. To be fair, all the divisions are looking very close and very tight.
Oh, yes.
But Academy has got so much, because there are so many guys that are maybe just starting out, and they've got so much room just to grow and improve their racecraft. And over the course of the season, I think we're going to see that throughout this field entirely. And Matthews will definitely be one of them, of course, being a newcomer. Next up in Alfa Romeo, we have AFL 1994. A newcomer to CRL. I have raced with him a couple of times myself before. I think he'll be a decent wee driver for this league. Definitely wouldn't write him off. I expect to see him get a couple of podiums at the minimum this season. He's a pretty solid driver, decent enough quality pace and race pace, and of course, when you're new to a league like this and you've done a bit of racing in the past, you want to come in and make a name for yourself, and I definitely think he's going to be trying that.
Great, it's a very special name as well that you will absolutely remember, AFL 1994. But also, we have joining him in the Alfa Romeo, we've got Drone, or Drone, I think it's Drone YouTube.
I think it's Drone, yeah. I would go with Drone for now until if Drone, if you're in the comments.
Please. Please let us know shall we pronounce the name?
Because we're sure to butcher a few of these at some point throughout the season.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm talking about John YouTube as well. He is a tier Pot 2 driver as well with us, new in Cone Racing League. Very exciting to have him here as well. And if he has YouTube already in the name, I can't wait to check out his YouTube channel, as well as everyone else's driver YouTube channels. Very great moves that we see that are sometimes not always on stream, so make sure to check every other driver out as well. But we are moving on to Williams now, and we got two new drivers. One from Pot 1, which is Mark Wilson, 1995, a year older than myself actually. Just 26 years old. Amazing to have him as well here with Cone. A very warm welcome, just recently joined.
Yep, just recently joined. From what I've seen, good pace, especially for this tier. I expect him to be in the mix at some point. And partnering him up is XW33C4MMYX, or as I'm sure he'd rather be known, Wee Cammy. Again, another new addition to the league. Pot 2 driver for the Williams team. He'll be looking to get in the mix, get a bit of experience about him, and can't wait to see what he's got over the course of the season. That, of course, that's our second back-to-back team with two brand new lineups. A lot of unexpected things to come from Alfa Romeo and Williams perhaps throughout the season. a lot to prove, a lot to show. And man that has got a lot to prove and a lot to show, especially off some of his performances last season, is our next driver for the Ferrari, Wild Dog K9. Of course, he joined us halfway through last season, settled into that racing point seat, and eventually was part of the team that won the constructors. Partly to his help with a brilliant 4th place around Britain. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cone Cup as well. He win
yes.
the Cone Cup with his team?
He was.
Absolutely
It was
impressive.
It was yeah. He was part of the team that got the Cone Cup. Himself, Krishna, Mark, and I apologise for the 4th driver, but I've missed it. Yeah, he's a solid little driver there on the Ferrari. A brilliant pick for the Ferrari team, I would say, this season. Partnered up with Spider Rob 95, another new addition to the league in the Pot 2 seat. Again, I haven't seen too much of him, but welcome to the league. We're looking to see some good things from you this season, and yeah, hopefully it's a nice little place you can improve upon week by week and get to grow with the community.
Absolutely, and today is going to be the first time for a few of those newcomers to actually show some pace that they have hidden somewhere deep in a bag, and to show off in front of our old Cone Racing League members. For example, in the McLaren, Reverend Melvin together with Crash Gaming 96, both with us for a little bit. Crash Gaming joined with us in season 1 already, for a long time with us. Amazing to still have you here, Crash. A pleasure to commentate for you as well. And Reverend Melvin had a really good result as well in race 6 in Brazil. P7 is his best result from last season since season 3 in Cone Racing Cup. So amazing to have you here as well with us. But we also have a small update from the YouTube chat. So amazing, guys, to see you all being active. Keep texting and talking about texting. I think Panda and Duel, and there's some more in the chat I want to point out to you, Scotty, that you have a mail. So
yes,
you
I've noticed.
Check your email account and after the race.
I've got mail. I wonder if I have some bank transactions that might make me a multi-millionaire, perhaps. That could be the case. Maybe it could just be a new contract of some sort. We'll never know. But yeah, good to see the support in the chat already for the guys. We've got Drone Harry on. It is just Drone YT, Drone YouTube. So thank you for clearing that up. That'll save us a lot of bother this season.
Yes.
We've also got a bit of support for Snakebite in the chat, who we haven't covered yet, but we'll get to him eventually. But good to see one of our new drivers getting the support in early. And yeah, the 2 McLaren boys there, as you were saying, 2 pretty experienced guys in this league setup, and 2 of my teammates this season. So I'll try not to be biased, but there might be a little. And speaking of drivers that I know well, it is Piero next in the Red Bull. Of course, Piero started off last season in the Academy, which has now been renamed to Tier 4, and moved up with myself to Tier 3. And he had some good performances there, getting a 2nd place in Hungary in Tier 3, which from starting off in the 4th tier, a brilliant result to get. He is a pacey driver, especially on his day, and one to definitely look out for.
Absolutely. And I was just having a look around here as well, and I lost track, but I think we are now on a 2nd driver with a person that we know not quite very well, but we know his name, and his name is Scott as well, in the Red Bull. It's the 2nd driver from Pot 2 as well, new to us. So very welcome. And he texted me as well how to pronounce his name. He'd say we can keep it as Scott or Cynetic. So a very welcome, Cynetic.
Yes, he likes to go for the 2, either Scott Gate or Cynatic. So plenty of options there. I'm sure we'll get one of them when we're talking about him. And yeah, he partners up Piero in the Red Bull. Good partner to have in your first season in racing, I would say there. And yeah, hopefully someone to jail against. And speaking of somebody to have as a good teammate in your first season, Tomo Tip Top, of course. He makes a climb down, unfortunately. He was in Tier 3 last season, but he had some solid results, I must say. 4th place at the opener in Bahrain. Maybe just struggling with the new game, perhaps. Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. He's in the Tier 4 this season, in the Alpine as our #1 driver, and definitely do not write him off. Tomo, I've seen it myself. He can pull the moves, he can put the laps in, and he can definitely rocket up the scoreboards. So yeah, one to definitely keep an eye on. He partners up another new in Atomic 76. Got to say, little shout out to my fellow countrymen, the Scotsmen there in the Alpine.
A big shout out to the Scots here with Cone Racing League. And let's finish up everything. We have 2 more drivers as well to announce who are also new to Cone Racing League. With the driver number 89, we've got the Maverick 33 in the Haas as a Pod 1 driver. New to Cone Racing League, so very, very interested to see what he can put on the track today. And he's also with a snake bite, or just snake or bite. I think we can call him Snake, with a driver number 99, also in the Haas team from Pod 2. A very warm welcome to all the new driver here. Firstly in Tier 4, but also of course to everyone who's still watching our live stream at the moment, and maybe afterwards with a nice coffee or tea, depends where you live, sitting on the couch. A very, very warm welcome to Cone Racing League Season 5. And we are going to start now with USA, a short pre-season race.
Absolutely brilliant there as well. You know, again, echo that. Welcome to everybody that's new, everybody that's returning, and aren't we just glad to have league racing back. I'd just like to say as well, we do have a reserve in tonight in the form of Wuban. He'll be one of our reserves for the season, of course. There may be a few of you watching tonight, might be a bit disappointed that you didn't get a full-time seat, but the reserves are a very important factor within this league, and you are not undervalued with that. It is amazing to have you guys to be able to come in, and all I can say is, whenever the opportunity presents itself, get your name in, get in that seat, and that definitely improves your chance to get a full-time seat. And Wuban jumped at that chance tonight. It'll be good to see how he gets on anyway, see how he mixes up amongst the guys. Obviously not really being potted, not really being assigned a team. He's maybe a bit of a lone gunner, but it'll be definitely good to see how he does. Another thing you touched on there, Steiny, very quickly, driver numbers. That's a very new thing this season, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely. It's just been implemented now as our preferred. We have been asked to our preferred driver number, and it is. Yeah, we've seen quite a few funny numbers as well there. For example, with Hedgehog himself having the number 69, of course, and always being the self-called comedian. Also with a comedian number.
Yeah, a bit strange that. I mean, Hedgehog 11, you would have thought he would have went for number 11, but yeah, we'll let the boy do his thing. That's up to himself. It's 97, the beautiful year that I was born in. There seems to be, looking at the list, there's quite a lot of 90s, 98, 99, 96, 97, 95, 94. Really shows you the decades that most of the drivers are born in. Obviously representing their year. What about yourself, Stein? What did you go for?
I went for the lovely number 4T. For the single reason, just because I like Lando quite a lot, and his number is 4, which was not available, obviously, and then I've just added a number 0 on top, so my number is 40.
Number 40. I know somebody that won't be very happy with that, and it happens to be the other commentator that will be stepping in quite regularly with us, Mr. Josh Wills. His course, Josh Wills 40. He was very, very looking forward to getting number 40, and you came in from underneath him and stole it off him, so shout out to you, Josh. You're obviously sitting watching tonight. I've seen you in the chat already, giving us a bit of big up. So yeah, you've obviously stole that away from me. I'll be a bit disgruntled, so I might You might hear from him that when you join him in the comms booth later this season.
There's always a payback chance as well on track, so I'm looking forward to see him attacking as well for the first time in the same tier as well as the two of us. We are very, very excited to all the new driver changes in the new season, but we haven't really talked about the tracks yet, have we? Because USA is actually not on the calendar for us.
It isn't on the calendar this season. We've got, of course, a 15-round season. Again, a lovely little season. No DLC tracks, sadly, at the time being, but maybe next season. But yes, of course, we've got the pre-season race for USA here today for CRC 4, and we kick off next week at Britain. Of course, last season's finale track will be this season's opener. It'll be nice to get a return on Britain. A nice balanced track, I personally feel. Be a good restart as well, because I don't feel it's a track that's anybody's favourite, but it's not a track that's anybody's least favourite.
That kind of makes sense. It's one of those tracks that has been with Formula 1 in real life for a very, very, very long time. If not one of the first tracks in real life Formula 1. But if it actually comes down to put down the lap time, it can be so tricky to get your personal best in qualifying. But it's a lot of fun to race, so I can't wait for the first track to actually start in Britain. But followed up as well with a very, very different track with France just before Netherlands, so we can see many changes already at the early stage of the season. You have to adjust and to adapt on the driving style quite already at the beginning. At the meantime, while we're just having a look at the calendar, we had our first few times as well here on the board. Tomo Tip Top on the 32.1, currently having P1. Everyone is just warming up here at the moment, followed by his teammate Atomic and a 33, 1 second behind. But this is just the first few minutes.
It's a good sign to see at the start. The top three separated by what, just over 300ths of a second. If that's the kind of season we've got in store, then I can't wait for every race.
Do you mean from P2 until P4?
No, from P1 to P3, Steiny, come on. 1.22.
to P2 is... Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And this is the kind of thing you're going to get with us two being the commentators, of course. Good friends, and
welcome to the show.
Yeah, ability to maybe take the mick out of each other. Mark Wilson, though, on his first lap going purple sector 1, we did mention he could be one to watch out for. He's definitely setting that up. Interesting as well, every driver apart from the Maverick out in the softs. What do you think of that, Steiny? That's quite a bold call from the Maverick, but it's
very, very risky as well. I was just watching the two Ferraris switching the position, Wildlock taking over the lead to set his first time, but the Maverick on mediums on 35.0, almost flat. Very, very risky for him, and Wildlock just put his car up to P2 and 32.6. So yeah, it's a good message that he's sending out. He can set a decent lap time, but it's not quite enough just at the beginning. But we'll see what we can expect from him later.
Mark Wilson just going in with 32.9. I would like to apologise to Bill Steiner while I am. I believe that Tomo Tip Top, Atomic and Hedgehogs were all 32s, but they were, of course, Atomic and Hedgehog being 33s. That makes a lot of sense why you questioned me. I do apologise for that.
So I was a little bit confused because thanks to my calculation of 32.1 and the 33.1 is not really 1/10 difference, but lovely to see them. Actually, we love to jump around because we just started talking about the calendar. Let's just quickly finish off the calendar. We have many tracks. Very, very positive for a few drivers to see that there's no Monaco on this calendar. As we follow after race 3, we have race 4 in Belgium, then 4 Canada and Japan, just before the race break and week break as well that we're heading into, and just starting with a very, very interesting first 6 races.
Very a big sort of change up. Britain, quite a balanced track. France, of course, you've got a lot of long straights there. The Netherlands, very tricky track in this game in my eyes. Curbs are lethal, and then the next 3. Now, personally, I'm not looking forward to rounds 4, 5, and 6. Belgium, I mean, we all know my love-hate relationship with Eau Rouge and Radion. Canada as well. I personally find it quite tricky. I know some of the guys actually prefer it this game to the last, so I suppose it's personal preference. And Japan, Japan Sector 1, that is a technical masterclass there. Absolutely. Reverend Melvin were just riding on board with there as well. The McLaren setting a P2 with a 132.3. Solid lap time, only just over 2 tenths off Tomo in first.
Yeah, that's a very good start there for the McLaren driver. Very, very close there, top 1 and 2. Maybe we'll be able to see some better times as well. We have a few drivers out on a hot lap, as well as Hedgehog just on track, setting his next, hopefully better time there here in USA, just sweeping around the turns. The S section, one of the trickiest parts here in USA, next to I think that is sector 3 with turn 12, 13, 14. Very, very tricky, very, very crucial as well not to lock up. But as we were talking about the Mark Wilson on the medium, he just set his time and is a P4 now, 32.9.
Very solid lap on the mediums. I don't know what the delta is, but I'd imagine that if he went out in the softs, he won't be too far off the oh no, he's just no, we made another little mistake here. That was he's just fitted the mediums. He hasn't set a base tap on the mediums.
Fitted.
Yeah,
right.
he's
we had too big of a break in between, didn't we? But Hedgehog just coming around the last turn. What is he going to be able to do? And it is so close. A 32.15, this P2. Just about behind Tomo Tiptop. Tomo really had a good lap there. 32.122. Just about in front. P1.
Yeah, a brilliant lap by only just under, or just over, sorry. No, just under 300s. Getting within. Hedgehog, again, we all know him pretty well. Last season his quali pace maybe let him down, but his race pace is certainly there. So we'll be looking to see how he can get on. Interesting, well, Tomo is on another lap, but he has invalidated. Who else? Atomic. He is on a flying lap at the moment. Coming just into sector 2. What is the split? He is 3 tenths down on his personal best, so... Oh, and he has invalidated. Oh, there. Well, there you go, Steiny. We can knock that down as the first commentator's curse on my part.
No, it already happened.
It's already happened. I've already done it.
Here we go, lads. Alright, and I'm not too sure what the idea is behind Drone and Piero, but Piero is just making his way out of the pit, just really waiting for the track to heat up, to leave the rubber on the track and have a bit more traction, a bit more speed around the turns. Just trying to set his first time. 3 drivers don't have a time just yet, so maybe a good opportunity for us just to finish the calendar as well. After the 1 week of break that we have after Japan, we are starting off in another love-hate track, in my opinion, China. It is a very, very tricky one. What's your opinion about China, followed by Azerbaijan and down to Italy?
Now, I know I said I'd hate and I'm not looking forward to rounds 4, 5 and 6, but I'm absolutely looking forward to 7, 8 and 9. China, I know it is like you say, a love-hate relationship track. I like it. I like the nice flowing sectors, that nice back straight, and then even the final turn. It's such a risky but such a fun place to go for an overtake. I can't wait to get there. Azerbaijan, Brilliant, brilliant check. You know, the longest straight on the calendar. Of course, plenty of moves into turn one. Sometimes double overtakes down that straight. Can't we forget? And in Italy, the citadel of speeds. I think that's what they call it. Of course, the average I can't even speak now. The highest average lap speed from the calendar.
Yeah, very, very exciting.
Just a quick one, Steiner. We get a second. Could you invite MUFC Harvey?
Absolutely, yes.
He's just run a bit late, and I've just noticed we've been tagged by the head admin, so we better do as we're told.
Let quickly do this before we're going to be changed for the next commentator.
Yeah, that'll be the end of our career. Just while I've been speaking there, I've been on board with Snakebite. He's been getting a lot of love in the comments, so let's see what his next lap is. He improves, does he? He does to a 133.2, puts him P9 at the moment. Of course, first venture out in CRL. Decent little result there. I mean, the top 6 are all guys that are veteran of the league, I suppose, in a way. And then you've got Mark Wilson, Atomic, Snakebite, Wuban, Mikami, Maverick, Spider Rob, Drone, and Piero, the only actual veteran that's not in the top 6 or the top half of the grid, but he is on a lap, and we do know what speed this guy has. It'll be interesting to see what he can do here, just coming through the final sector round the long right hander, a brilliant corner, basically copy and pasted from turn 8 of Turkey. 2 left-handers left. If we do have a yellow flag in sector 2, that might just be somebody letting someone by. Piero round in the final corner to set his first competitive lap time. 33.6. Can't feel they'd be a little bit disappointed with that. And we know we've seen the pace he's got. Of course, he's a race winner on CRA last season, winning the first race out in Bahrain, and the next 2 races getting podiums before showing himself pace enough to get promoted up to tier 3. It'll be yeah, slightly disappointed with that, I would imagine, but he has got time to go and do another lap. Not really spoke much about the quali format here, I suppose as well. CRC 4 compete over the short quali format, which is an 18-minute session. Every driver has a chance to go out and set their laps, and the top 10 will start on the tyres that they set the fastest lap with. Everybody else has a free choice of strategy and tyre. As I was saying that as well, Snakebite improving 32.9, gets in P6. I'm sure the comments will be loving that. It'll be yep, great lap by Snakebite. That's from Connor Hook. A lot of support for him in the chat, which is always good to see. And MUFC Harvey joining the session now, brilliant to see as well. Another veteran as well. A good guy. He'll be looking again, second season in the Mercedes. I don't know how you feel about that, but he's back out in the Mercedes again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this Mercedes engine is a beautiful sound that you'd like to have in your ear, in your headset as well. But I'm very happy with the AlphaTauri as well. I think the sound improvement in this game is something that I really enjoy. He has a few cars that have an amazing sound. I think McLaren, Williams even, and as a Williams driver of Kami, I think is the name, just had to dodge the car. I think it was a Red Bull in the S6, just went a little bit wide. It's a beautiful sound as well. Just to finish up where we started, very impressive this sound system, this game.
Yeah, it's been a big improvement. I remember last year anyway, there was a little bit of debate about which car was the best engine. Personally, I prefer the Ferraris. I like the weird clunk of the upshift and downshift. But I think that, to be fair, they all sound pretty good this season. Interesting note as well, there's qualifying today, it's been quite grouped up. Drone just setting his first lap at 1:33.3. There was a Ferrari in front of him for the majority of the lap, so maybe not the best time he could have done. And like you're saying, there's quite a group of them there coming through the third sector. I think it's a Williams, 2 Alpine and a Red Bull.
Stacking up slipstream is always very difficult to handle with, especially in that part that they are in at the moment. turn 12 up to turn 14 or 15 it is, I think. Very, very tricky part, as mentioned before. And we are just reaching the last 5 seconds of our very first qualifying in the pre-season here in Season 5, as it just ended. Currently, Tomo Tiptop is still on top with 31.9, the only driver who went into the 31s at the moment. Very, very shortly followed by Hedgehog, who's just making his way around the track, and he's just put purple second sector. If he doesn't invalidate, he went a little bit wide actually, but it's just a few more turns for him to do. Hopefully he'll be able to bring the time back home and maybe get P1 as well, approaching the very, very last and ultimate turn here, going a little bit on the curb and almost spinning around. He lost a lot of time. Is it going to be enough for P1? It's not. He lost it on the exit. Very, very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, he was down on his time by 3 tenths, probably lost that in the exit of the final turn and just run that a little bit wide, but P2 at the moment would be very happy. A shout out to the Maverick as well, improving pretty well in his final time, putting a 32.3 in there. So he will be, I would say, quite happy with that to begin with. So we've got Alfa Romeo of Drone off in the final sector. That'll be his qualifying over, sadly. Mark Wilson though, no, not Mark Wilson, Kami coming around the final 2 corners. He's out in the mediums trying to improve, but sadly not going to do so. Drone, of course, invalidated. And who does that leave us? It doesn't leave us 2 men.
No.
Is it Tomo and Mark Wilson just? Again, very close together. Mark Wilson doing very good to get out of the way there. That's what we like to see. And Tomo coming into the pits, obviously realising he's got enough for pole. Why waste a set of tyres fully? So.
Did Mark Wilson retire? Did he crash into the box? I think he just. That is very, very unlucky. But this is not one of our very well-known commentator curse, because I think that was just a notice. We just noticed it afterwards. But this is it, ladies and gentlemen. The very, very first qualifying session that we had. We have a few very, very impressive times here already. A very first view from some of our new driver as well at Cone, and I can't wait for the lights actually to go out and before we finalize the grid here.
Yep, absolutely. Looking very close at the top. It's what we like to see. Tomo Tiptop taking the pole in the Alpine with a 131.9, quarter a second ahead of Hedgehog. He'll be very happy with that time of 131. Then followed up by Mean Man Booty with a 32.2. Wild Dog again 32.2. Maverick getting P5 with a 32.3. Reverend Melvin in 6th. Piero in 7th. Snakebite in 8th. Greg's Game Centre 9th. Mark Wilson competes the top 10. Then followed up by Atomic, Drone, Wuban, Kami, and if I can just remember how to scroll down, Spider Rob and MUFC Harvey. But yeah, I mean the top, what is it, the top 6 separated by less than half a second. That is exactly what you want to see from a pre-season race. Of course that can all just come down to maybe who got a better exit out of one corner, who got a smoother lap in, who got a slight bit of toe. So nothing splitting the top 6 really. A lot of the new guys slightly further down the field, but of course your first outing, a lot of them, I mean I'll maybe get a bit personal here, but I remember my first outing in a league race with CRL last season, and I know it was a long time ago in March, wasn't it?
Long time ago.
Look at me now, I've fairly blossomed, but yeah.
Look at the progression that you had in Cone Racing League. You've started in previously the Academy, which is now a Tier 4, has been renamed, and we're not ever going to use that name again. But you started in Academy, made your way up after 3 races, straight away into Tier 3, and impressed the admins that much that you are now joining me as well in Tier 2, and I'm very excited to have you finally on track as well, to be able to battle you on track. It's going to be more exciting. So amazing progression that you had here in Cone Racing League, and anyone else who's just new here as well, you all have ways to options to improve and to climb up the tiers and climb up the fun factor and climb up, make new friends, join the community, and it's a pleasure to have you here.
Exactly, and I mean I'm not the only one. Josh, Mr. J Wells, our other co-commentator that'll be joining us at some point this season. Of course, he's in tier 2 as well. Got runner-up in the academy last season, or should we call it we should just refer to it, I think, as CRC 4.
Yeah.
Future. And he's up in tier 2, and dare I say, he's looking quite feisty for tier 2. You've then got guys like Gautier LeFallon moving up to tier 3, Murphy moving up to tier 3, there is a few more. Mazzles. It'll be good to see that the progression again, because that's what we need. That's the idea of this tier. It's to maybe get the guys that aren't too familiar with racing, aren't too experienced, and just give them an opportunity. You can develop your racecraft, your pace, and within the community you've got so many guys out there. Yourself, Steiny, Ferg, Jacob, Nathan, DC, Mark, Kevin, Duell, Wouter, all these guys. Peas, I better mention Peas or else he'll say something to me later on.
He's gonna be mad otherwise.
Yeah. All these guys here that are there to give you little hints and tips and help you improve your racing, and that's the whole idea of it. But yeah, the guys starting this first race, for me, I wouldn't be aiming too high. Just a little build of confidence, I would say, and that can make the world of difference. Just to get the first race nerves out of the way.
Getting used to everything, getting used to how it works, how even after the race is not over. As we have just put into the announcement that if you have an amazing overtake, please feel free to clip it and to send it over to any admin in Kuhn Racing League, because we would love to make a video from the best overtakes during the entirety of the season. We're going to start now with the preseason as well. But more important, Scott, take it away. This is the start.
We have our 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the USA Preseason Grand Prix. That nice run up the hill to the first turn as Mean Man Moody gets a very good start, looking to get in between Hedgehog and Tomo. Tomo does get round the corner in first. They all look to get away clean, a few running wide, but no contact from the looks of it. And yeah, the front pack are away. Interesting to note as well, just early doors, everybody out in the softs. We'd love to see that. This will be a very racy.
Oh, we have a spinner. Unfortunately, it's the Maverick, the spawn, and lost a few places. Now it's down to him to cool down his tires again and settle down. We have a yellow flag, sector 1 and sector 2, but
we do as well. Hedgehog having a little spin. Oh, and he's spun again on the warm tyres. Not the start he was looking for. You know what that one
is, Scotty?
That is the commentator's curse.
Just after the race, once again.
Getting back to the action at the front though, Reverend Meldon P3 lining up a move on Mean Man Moody along the back straight. Up the inside, gets the move done. A brilliant move for P2. Again, MUFC Harvey making a move on Mark Wilson there, but also picking up a time penalty early doors. Not the start you want, but if you're making your way up the field, maybe it's worthwhile.
And we got someone who improved his position by 10. Wee Kemi, now up to P4. Very, very impressive. He started all the way down in P14, and within not even a full lap, he made up to P4. Very, very impressive. As well as MUFC Harvey, now up to P6. Impressive start here for the two lads. Just as we have another bug telling us that DRS has just been enabled. That is not true. That is only starting on lap number 3, and we have Maverick. I think that is a DNF. We have the first DNF from Maverick in end of sector 2.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happened there. It's good to see though Codemasters haven't fixed the leaderboard glitch at the start and the lap glitch, because I have no idea who is in what position.
Wild Dog and Mark Wilson, sorry to interrupt you. They just crashed, had a small little touch, and Wild Dog spun around. Very, very unfortunate for the Ferrari driver. Now, unfortunately, lost a few positions. But now, as he started already talking about another spin, MUFC Harvey spun as well at the beginning at the exit of turn 11, which is the long straight. Very unfortunately, I can confirm that the experience of this new game with the throttle input and the new tires, it makes everything way more difficult. So yeah, it's very easy to spin out.
Absolutely, new game, new physics model, I suppose, and new setups as well. It's taken a little bit getting used to. It seemed as well that that sector 1 crash, and just as I was speaking, who is that? I think it's Snakebite having a spin. Just overcooking the tyres a little bit. Best just to let them cool down and regain the grip. Not an ideal start for a few drivers, having a few spins. Reverend Melvin got caught up, and as we have a retirement, Reverend Melvin spin and Wild Dog both spinning on the same corner, and that's a virtual safety car. Wow, that was 2 for 1 there, one after another. Full safety car.
Full safety car now.
Interesting.
That is a very action resulted start here in the USA. Obviously, it's very tricky. Now we cannot forget. Just today, was it yesterday? There was an update from the game which has changed the game physics, and it makes everything way more difficult to adjust. I haven't tried it myself out. I'm not too sure if you have some experience already on your small section, a session with AJ that you had earlier on. What was your impression? Did you feel anything?
I did feel a little bit different. Sector 1 definitely felt a little bit less natural for me, I suppose. Maybe just getting the turning in points different, so I think there has been a slight change to it. Of course, it'll be, I suppose time will tell, and we'll get used to it again, but it's not nice to get it dumped in you just 12 hours before a race. Interesting to see that we have 2 pitters in Hedgehog and Wubang, both going for the hard. Do you think that... I don't know if the hards would last right to the end. It could possibly.
Oh, that's going to be very tricky. I haven't really tried that many races on hard yet on the new game, but if so, it's going to be really tricky. I think the tire wear itself has increased from the previous game to this game, and as we Cammy just got a 5 seconds penalty entering the pit lane, as well as Spider Rock got another 3 seconds time penalty on top. I think that because the tire wear has increased, it's going to be more difficult to make your previous strategy work, but I think we'll see. I think we have a third driver as well on hards. It's going to be very interesting, and 4 drivers already on medium, so different strategies all over the place.
Yep, MUFC Harvey and Snakebite going for fresh softs as well, so we've got 3 different strategies in effect here: the soft, medium and hard. Well, 4 if you include the front 4, and Piero has retired. That is through sector 1. We'll get on board with Drone YT, and he is spun on the entrance to the S's under safety car. That is a strange one. I wonder if that's just cold tyres coming out of the pit and just maybe pushing a little too hard. But
very possible.
Oh, his drone loses it as well. Again, possibly just the cold tyres coming out of the pits, maybe pushing too hard to try and catch the safety car queue. Take it easy, guys. Just get yourself around and push on from there.
It's all about the restart, not about catching the safety car. Oh, good catch, Drone. Alright, take it easy from now, save some tires, and then just find the leader back of Hedgehog. You have better tires already, so there will be a good opportunity for you to make up some positions once you have caught up to them, as everyone else is just waiting behind the safety car. We're just waiting for a few more drivers to catch up, and I think there will be maybe one more lap around, if this isn't the last lap, as I assume. But as we've seen already, like so many spins with cold tires, this is one of the biggest changes as well. The new game, it's especially in the formation lap as well. The tires are just very, very cold, around 60, 70 degrees. So this is what brings us to formation lap. Is the importance of the formation lap is way, way more important than previous game now.
Yeah,
it's a tricky game. It's a difficult game.
It is. I don't know if that's maybe due to the change of the tyre pressures worked. Obviously, the meta last game was minimal tyre pressure to get the base grip. That doesn't work anymore for whatever reason. And there seems to be a bigger emphasis on the tyre temperature this game, which is a bit closer to real life. We'd love to see. It's also a bit trickier. So that might be becoming a factor here with the early laps and obviously after the pit stops. On to lap 5, and we've got a quarter of the grid already DNF'd. It's not the way we'd like to start things, however. The good news is though, if this was a league race, all of the drivers would be in the points. Of course, those familiar to Cohen will know that we do points down to P15, the new drivers. This might be the first time they're hearing that. There will be a graphic out sometime this week when Jacob gets a chance to do it. Or when Nathan tells him to do it. I don't know how the dynamic works. But no, there will be a graphic out, unlike the maybe other leagues.
I think it's the last version.
yeah, I think it might be. But yeah,
I think Nathan is the one that has the boots in the house. I think that's how you say it in English, isn't it?
I just noticed as we say that, Jacob has just commented on the screen saying, "Hold up, how dare you?" Sorry, Jacob.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be the butt of the jokes, and tonight we just chose you. But yeah, the point system, same as season 4 for season 5. Instead of maybe a normal league race or real life F1, 25 points for a win. Instead, with us, you get 40. P2 then gets 33. P3 gets 28, and that continues all the way down until P15, who get a single point. Fastest lap is still given, 1 point for the fastest lap, but you must finish within the top 10. So if you finish P11, you've got the fastest lap, then you sadly don't get the extra bonus point. It's still just to encourage everybody to try and finish as high as possible, I assume. But personally, I think it's a brilliant point system. Everybody here likes to this race. I know maybe if this was a normal race battling for P10, everybody would have a chance, but it just makes it all the worth more value.
Absolutely. And here we go once again. The safety car is in the lap, in the pit, and we have Tomo Tip-Top leading the field down into turn 1. Very, very close. A weak Camis dive bumping into Spider Rob into turn 1 and making the move work. Impressive. And Mima Moody is having another cheeky look, but we have Tomo Tip-Top retired. And I think it is the cold tires once again, because I haven't really seen many drivers weaving around. We have another yellow flag. Hopefully it's not going to be another safety car, maybe just a virtual safety car, as he's spun out at the beginning of the S section in section 1 actually. Very, very tricky, maybe just during a battle. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see it on cam, but every other driver is just calming down and take it easy for now, because you still have cold tires at the beginning of the restart. Drone very, very close to Hedgehog. Is he going to go for a move here? I think he's not. He's a little bit too far away.
Just going to cross Drone on the mediums, Hedgehog on the hards. So you would expect, especially when he being a couple of laps old, that Drone would have the advantage here. The same with Snakebite on Wuban. There's only 4 tenths between them. Snakebite on the softs, Wuban on the hard. So you'd think that extra grip from the soft, he'll be looking to line up a move in the next few corners, possibly into turn 1.
Getting really close. Is he going to go for a move? Sorry to interrupt you, but he's getting so close to Spider Rob, almost pushing him around the turn. Is he going to go for the dive bomb? Yes, he is. The last turn, and he made the move. No, he's not yet. Still side by side. Spider Rob is defending brilliantly. I think that was a switchback. Does anyone of the driver has a DRS? No DRS just now. It's just ERS. He can brake a little bit later. And it's just MUFC Harvey making a beautiful switchback. Beautiful battle between the two of them. And Mima Moody is maybe preparing another overtake as well. But that was brilliant from both drivers. And
we have another 2 more retirements through the same corner as Piero and Tomo. And that is a full course safety car. 2 drivers out in the same corner. The same one that caught Piero out and Tomo. Seems to be a tricky one. Just I don't know if that was cold tyres or whether maybe just pushing too hard. Maybe possibly you pushing with ERS and just losing the back end slightly. But we're down to 9 drivers after 7 laps here. 7 DNFs.
1 DNF an average per lap, and it's not really what you would love to see as the first race. But USA is always promising to have some action, and we did see a little bit of action, but just from the wrong sort. Very, very unfortunate. But this gives us an opportunity to everyone in the chat who's still watching. A massive thank you to all of you. If you want to know anything, if you have any questions, wishes, let us know. We'll keep an eye in the chat. You've been very, very active already. Over 200 messages in the first race here. That is absolutely amazing. Keep going, guys. Support your favorite driver. Support your favorite constructor. And we want to see it all in the chat.
Absolutely. Interesting to note the pit stops. Mark Wilson and Atomic coming in, Hedgehog coming in. He's only on 4-lap old hards. I'm quite surprised at that. Spider Rob though, he's still in his starting softs and he's going to keep going. I reckon you could probably under normal racing conditions push them softs to maybe about lap 11, 12. Of course we've had quite a few laps under safety cars. I think he's going to try and stretch them and then go for a soft medium.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, if you expect a few more safety cars or maybe a virtual safety car, it might be possible, but again the tire wear has completely changed in this game, so I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be last for the entirety of the race. 20 laps to go.
I think it might be. I noticed Greg, Hedgehog, they're all moving on to the mediums. Mark Wilson and Atomic moving on to the soft. So I'd imagine a medium soft or a soft medium from here is probably the most viable option. Of course, Spider Rob's got the option to try and stretch his out, and obviously he's not wanting to sacrifice track position at the moment for fresh tyres. That might be the right choice. It might not. We'll see come the end of the race, I suppose. But
yeah, what would you do? Because he stayed out for the both safety cars. He improved by 12 positions up to P3 now. Would you have pitted for this safety car?
I probably would have kept going just with being on the softs. And I probably by that I would have pit at the previous lap there and probably slapped on, depending on obviously before I'd been racing I would have a look at the strategy and know a better deal myself, but either the mediums or the hards to see would probably get me to the end.
Yeah, fair point,
personally.
Fair enough. Considering it's just a pre-season race as well, you don't really have to have trained a massive amount of hours for this race, because it's just a pre-season race and it doesn't count. But it's always quite fun to have good racing, isn't it?
Well, that's it. I think the minority of drivers, especially in the tier 1, 2 and definitely 3 as well, that would go into a weekend or a race week blind. I think they'll at least do maybe an hour or so of TT. There is some drivers that'll do a week's worth of practice. I'm not going to name any names, they know who they are. We all know who they are. But obviously the more practice you get in, the more comfortable you get in with your braking points, your acceleration points, turning points, and it can help. It is a good way to improve. Snakebite jumping in the pit as well, another set of softs. I wonder if... No, there can't be any contact because there was no... I'm not too sure with that. Because he hasn't got a penalty, so it's not like he made contact and had wing damage, unless he had wing damage from before, but I'm sure he pit the last lap and would have had something, so... I'm not too sure with that one, unless I'm missing something very obvious.
Yeah, it's gonna go down to who will be able to warm up the tires, and I don't really see that much weaving around. As for now, as we have a couple of drivers leaving the session at the moment, unfortunately, due to a DNF on the track itself, but it's so close. I'm just staying here with Spider Rob because it's going to be really interesting for him how well he can stick to the guys in front with 8 laps old soft tires and how long he can go for as well. Around behind him, a 4 laps old medium tire with Mimem Moody. He's definitely going to try to go for a move here, there. It's going to be really interesting. The tire temperatures must be so cold right now because everyone is just crawling behind the safety car and after talking about it. A safety car is just in this lap and Cami is preparing a safety car restart now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Does he go early? Does he go late? Does he back the pack up well, or does he just stick to the tail end of that safety car? Of course, everybody's got their preference. Interested to see what he's got. 4 lap mediums against MUFC. Harvey's 4 lap softs behind him, and Spider Rob's 8 lap softs behind him. The battle I'm looking for is Mark Wilson, Mean Man Moody, and Spider Rob. 8 lap softs against 4 lap mediums against 0 lap softs. I think that could be quite tasty through the first sector. But the most important thing is, have they got the tyres up to temperature? I wish we could see that info as we are away under green flag racing. MUFC Harvey, is he lining up a move into turn 1? Just a little too far back at the moment. Seems to be everybody maybe just taking their time, just making sure they get through this first lap after the restart and see how things go from there. Just settle into a bit of a rhythm.
We got Mark Wilson putting a lot of pressure already on Mima Moody here. He's just on his gearbox already. He's going to prepare maybe a dive bomb, maybe a nice overtake, and he's going to go for the inside line. No, he's not just quite there, but he's got a long straight now to prepare his overtaking move. It's all about getting a good exit as he's activating his DRS, but Mima Moody as well, and both drivers still have slipstream from the car in front, so that's not going to be a move unless it's going to be a crazy dive bomb, and it's not going to be. A Spider Rob at the moment is flashing light as Mima Moody is going for the inside line. Spider Rob just lost 1 position, and Mark Wilson just taking 2 cars and 2 turns, but Mima Moody is trying to fight back. But Mark Wilson, very impressive there, taking 2 positions and 2 turns. Very well done, up to P3, and it's now down to him to chase up the guys in front with a penalty, and himself, he's on 0 seconds time penalty, so it's really promising at the moment.
Spider Rob.
No,
what sorry happened? To interrupt. I was watching on board with Spider Rob there because just with all the tyres he was struggling a bit, and he's missed his braking point going into the pits and lost his front wing. Not what he would have been wanting. I suppose he maybe deciding there that he was losing too much time to the guys behind him on the fresh tyres that he wanted to jump in the pits. While that was happening as well, MUFC Harvey made a brilliant move on wee Cami down the back straight, going into the left-hander and getting P1, pulling out a 1.3 second gap already. Of course, he is on 6 lap softs compared to wee Cami's 6 lap mediums, so you do expect the better grip, better pace. But this could be an interesting battle for the front, as Mark Wilson's also getting involved with wee Cami, whose red light seems to be flashing. He's only on 9% ERS. Oh, yeah, that could be tricky for him. Going for the short game, trying to push hard now, but that could come to bite him later on as Mark Wilson gets the move done before the left-hander. Mikami dropping down to third.
We've got a request as well in the chat to see the penalties, if you don't mind changing the penalties. And MFUC Harvey is going off the track and went into neutral and spun around. That is very unfortunate. Just returning back on track. Mima Moody is spinning around as well. Unfortunately, we see so many cars spinning around here. It's USA from his best side. That is very unfortunate to see for the drivers at the moment. Some more penalties are picking up as well. And we have Cami on P2 with 5 seconds time penalty just behind his teammate who's on 0. Mark Wilson looking really impressive here so far. Smooth line, good ERS management, good clean overtakes. and so far he's looking very promising to take the W back home.
Definitely, so he's doing a good showing from out in this pre-season race, doing a purple sector 1 there already. Could this be the fastest lap incoming? We'll wait and see. Following up the penalties, MUFC Harvey with 9 seconds, Mean Man Moody with 11, and Spider Rob with 6. Only 4. Oh, Spider Rob makes it 9. Does that count as commentator's curse? I
would
know.
say no.
No, let me off with that one. But yeah, only 4 of the 9 drivers going, so 5 of them doing very well to not even pick up a penalty yet. It can be very tricky, of course, over the course of a race. Free little infractions such as braking slightly late, accelerating slightly early, or turning in slightly late or early can award you that 3-second penalty, and we know how big effect that can have on results. We've seen it in the past. I've experienced it in the past, as I'm sure you have as well, Steiny. It is
Yes.
one of the most gutting things ever, but that is, I suppose, one thing that separates a good driver from a really good driver, is keeping it between the white lines throughout a 28, 30, 40 lap race. As Hedgehog gets a bit squirmy through the second to last corner, that's Greg eyeing up a move. Will he maybe get a move down into turn 1? He's going to have DRS, ERS. Is Hedgehog deploying his? Yes, he is. They're both on about 30%. Greg moving to the inside and looking to get the move done. Yes, he does. Hedgehog having to just settle in behind the battle of the teammates here for P4. It just shows you one little mistake on the throttle can cost you position just like that. Oh, as Greg runs wide through the S's, Hedgehog deciding better of it to go for it. This is a brilliant battle here, a nice little teammate rivalry.
Absolutely beautiful. The new livery as well. The Aston Martin looks absolutely beautiful. If we have a look from the broadcast as well, this battle to watch down the straight as we have Hedgehog now in the DRS zone and using his ERS onto Greg's game center, just going onto the left hand side, which is the inside line, making the move look quite simple, but just runs a little bit wider actually. Greg's Gaming is not pushing back, but beautiful battle between the two teammates here on medium tires.
Absolutely, two teammates, well, Greg a veteran being around from the early days in Hedge, recent addition last season, but yeah, two guys that know the league very well, and could be interesting to see if this battle continues throughout the season. Could we get some maybe Hamilton Rosberg vibes from the Aston Martin crowd? That would be oh, that would be scintillating to watch week in, week out, I must admit.
Absolutely.
Atomic those.
Third driver as well behind. Sorry, we've got Snakebite very, very close on soft tires behind. We'll have a keeping an eye on him because he's closing up the gap a little bit, but he's on 4 laps old soft tires, so he will definitely have to pit again as he just run a little bit wide and got a 3 seconds time penalty, unfortunately for him, but nothing is far from over. Spider Rob as well, just picking up a few more seconds. He brings a fun fact on the side. I was having a look from the last season's Academy, previously Academy, now Tier 4 race, and
good catch.
I had to save myself there a little bit. So from last season, and we had an overall amount of 150 seconds of time penalties. That is 2.5 minutes only time penalties that were added onto the race. But that was as well a very wet race at the very end, where everyone had to go on to inters and adjust to new conditions. And luckily, we don't have to. These drivers today don't have to adjust to any wet condition, but that doesn't make the track any easier, does it?
Well, you've said it now, Steiny. Rain for the last 5 laps incoming, I predict, after you've just said that. But yeah, they're not getting quite that close, and they're not getting close in the penalties either. They're only at 41 seconds so far. MEFC Harvey and Spider Rob picking up the fair share of that with 12 seconds each. Mean Man Moody with 6. Wee Kami in second with 5. Mark Wilson and Snakebite with 3. Atomic, Hedgehog and Greg doing a very good job keeping it clean, keeping it between the lines, and yeah, keeping the penalties to 0. That's quite the record though. What was it, 100, 140? That was...
Yeah, I was quite 150 seconds, and that was one lap before the final lap, so I assume there were a few more seconds as well, added up, but 2.5 minutes only time penalties. That is quite of a number.
That's quite impressive in its own feat, I must admit. Of course, the winner of that race last season, Jay Wells, or the co-com, he'd be a man that'd be able to tell you a lot about them penalties. I don't know if he got any himself, but I'm sure he heard about a few of them from his fellow driver.
Yeah, absolutely. It's USA is always a track you have to be perfectly over the curbs. You have to know which curb you can cut and how much you can cut each curb. And every game is different, so you have to learn every track new after every single game or any update changes. It's very, very difficult Formula 1. So there's no doubt of still seeing a very, very impressive racing pace here for our Tier 4 drivers for today.
Absolutely. Just as you were speaking there, sorry, me and my Moody got a nice little move down the back straight on MUFC. Harvey, of course, Moody on 2-lap old softs, Harvey on 2-lap old hard. So you would expect Moody to have the pace advantage for the time being. I think he will need to stop though, is the only thing. Well, maybe not. He might be able to, if he's easy on them, stretch him out to the end. Could he
Maybe.
come back in? You look in front, you've got Snakebite just coming out of the pits. Yeah, he's probably maybe advantage to him. Greg and Hedgehog, I could say they could probably manage to the end, but the front three, I think they might need to stop again.
Yeah, that absolutely looks like it. 7 laps old soft and 11 laps old mediums. It's going to be really, really difficult to bring them back home, as MUFC Harvey just did a little jump there over the yellow sausage curb in the S section. Very definitely worth mentioning that your yellow sausage curbs in this game have been just brutally, especially in Italy. You can't jump over any of those curbs at all to get some more times, get some more tenths there for your time. But once again, you have to learn every single track and where you can, where you can't cut the curbs to gain a bit more time.
Absolutely, it's even more risky this year as well with the improved damage model. The CRC Tier 4 drivers don't need to worry about that too much. Drive damage settings are only set so they can get tyre and wing damage, essentially things that can be repaired in the pit, third time trying. Aside from, of course, if you smack a wall at several hundred miles or kilometres per hour and decide to break your suspension, but everything else can be repaired. For the other tiers, of course, we've got to deal with a bit of maybe floor or rear wing damage, potentially, and if you decide to mount one of them curbs at the wrong angle, at the wrong speed, then it could dramatically affect your top speed. It'll be interesting to see how everybody handles that, and yeah, as you say, USA, that the first sector especially, the difference between hitting a perfect line and hitting a triple Warner corner cut line is about about 2 inches. It is marginal. Yeah. It is. There's nothing of it.
It's really, really difficult. Sometimes it's more of a feeling that you have to go for rather than. As we have as well, Mark Wilson making his way into the pit from 8 laps old soft tires, going very, very careful there into the pit lane, making sure he doesn't get a penalty. As Spider Rob just got a 3-second time penalty, but we also have Atomic pitting into. Is it going to be medium as well? Pretty sure it will be. From
I think
soft.
It'll be. I think it's medium. I think if they had a spare set of softs, they probably could go the distance, but there's been a lot of safety cars, a lot of pits, and I think they might just be running slightly short. But this brings us in a nice little interesting scenario. You've got Mark Wilson, 2.4 seconds off Greg, with 9 lap newer mediums. Now, you'd expect them over the course of the next 10 laps to catch that. Greg might need to do a bit of tyre saving, as with Hedgehog, because speaking of which, Greg and Hedgehog are actually having a little bit of a ding-dong battle here by the looks of things.
He's catching really quick. Mark Wilson's really impressive, and we were talking about the sound already before. Good catch as well on the exit out of turn 11. We were talking about the sound of the game before, and why don't we do a full lap on Mark Wilson, who's new to Cone as well, into the Williams game, and deactivate all the HUD and just listen to the sound, as I think as well he will approach the two Aston Martins on track as well.
I think he's going to catch him very soon. Just as that was happening, Greg makes the move on Hedgehog down the back straight. We're going no HUD for a lap. Just enjoy the game and enjoy what I expect to be a scintillating battle for P3. Oh, was Mark Wilson goes a little deep into turn 1. I don't know if he has damage. Don't think so. I didn't see any debris, but I think we might be okay.
Yeah. There is no damage visually on the broadcast camera so far, but it is just beautiful how he's able to bring his car around in this very difficult and tricky S section, as you've already mentioned, Scott. It's all about just a few centimeters, and talk about centimeters, he's getting really close to Hedgehog there. He's struggling a little bit on his 10 laps old medium tires, but here we go. It is all about the exit. Mark Wilson has 37% of ERS, Hedgehog has a little bit, actually a little bit more, but DRS still. Mark Wilson makes an easy move around the inside and just queues up behind Greg's game center, and Hedgehog is settling down to P4. Very smart there from Hedgehog as well, not really battling too much if you don't have to, because it would just cost you time. And this is all thanks to the seasons and the years, the experience that he has already. You don't always have to fight in whatever tier you are. Always look at the situation. What is the car behind? Do you have to defend, or will you and the team, the driver behind you, gain more time by not battling? So it could be a win-win situation, not to battle.
Absolutely. I mean, brilliant driving from all the drivers there. Mark making the move into turn 1 on Greg. Gets it done round the outside. Brilliant move. He could have had a chance maybe down the back straight if he was ambitious to have a little dive on Greg, but decided better of it, knew that he had the tyre advantage and the pace advantage as such, and decided to leave it until the next opportunity. And as Greg is just commentator cost him again. I need to stop.
Wow.
Can we just turn my camera off? Like, everybody I watch seems to just spin out. And I was just speaking so highly of Greg there that, you know, did a
I have a
brilliant
great
job.
idea how we can deactivate, enable or disable your commentator curse. How about we turn off the entire HUD, just mute ourselves and listen and stay with Mark Wilson on a beautiful lap here. We have seen a lot of support as well in the chat, so why don't we just be quiet for an entire lap from the next one on and watch and enjoy the sound of the new game.
I think you secretly just want to nip away for a drink or the toilet or something, you're Steiny, when you're suggesting this. But yeah, we'll join in, we'll let it take in a game. There's not much in the way of battles at the moment.
You got me.
And we'll let them race away. Alright, Stein, I've just had the message from Murphy. We're to get off the YouTube chat and get back to commentating. He doesn't know what's going on.
Alright.
Shout out to Murphy, of course, our old CRA Tier 4 admin, moving up to Tier 3. I wish you all the best, mate. I know you're going to smash it.
Absolutely, Mermaid's gonna be there with you. But we as well had two drivers who pitted, who were Rex Game Center and Atomic. Just to mention as well, I think one of them picked up a 5 seconds time penalty by speeding in the pit by too much, and Meeman Moody just entered the pit lane as well to change to medium tires.
So fresh mediums. Yeah, speaking of penalties as well, Hedgehog, the only man to not put a foot wrong as such so far. Very good showing from him. Currently in P3 with no pens. He will need to push on a little bit if he's going to capitalise on the pens, being 18 seconds back from Mark Wilson. But it's a good start and a good confidence builder to know that you can do the full length without pens. And that's me just jinxed it. He's definitely going to get a penalty now. And I can't wait to hear from him when he does.
Don't you forget, we have disabled your Meeman Moody.
Oh, Meeman Moody is retired as Greg's Game Center makes a move and snake back down the back straight. And that is a safety car. This is about to get spicy.
Oh yeah, and we have the top two already past the pit lane. That means Hedgehog has a perfect opportunity to pit. I think he's slowing down just right now to change the tires. And is he gonna pit? He is. Yes, absolutely. He's going to pit, and I can guarantee you we will see some red color on his car onto this green, beautiful livery. And it all comes down to Hedgehog now. If he's able to bring it down, bring it home without any penalty, and I will have a quick look at how many warnings he has so far.
I wouldn't put it all on Hedgehog. A man in a very good position right now is Greg's Game Center. He pit last lap for a set of softs. Couldn't have timed it much better. And he's actually jumped. He's on 1 lap older softs, but he has jumped them with track position. So this could get interesting. Mark Wilson, of course, on 4 lap mediums. I don't know if he's going to pit. Wee Cammy, 18 lap mediums. You've got to say he should.
Wow.
He should come out in P2 though. And if he can come out in P2 and fresh softs, this could be a really good battle between the top 4. Possibly even the others. I mean, if you've got a fresh set of softs, MUFC Harvey doing it, you might as well stick them on, because we've got a 5 lap shootout here ahead of us. I think this is probably, as bad as it is for Meeman Moody, this is probably the best thing that could have happened for this race, because it's just going to bunch up the field, get everybody a nice fresh tyres, and we're going to see what they can really do.
We're going to see some great battling very, very soon as the safety car is restarting. We have a few more drivers who are going into the pit, and let's see where Recam is going out of the pit line. And we have Mark Wilson picked up 5 seconds by speeding into the pit once again, but I am very, very impressed by Hedgehog. He has absolutely 0 warnings so far. That means he can push it to the very, very far limit. He looks very, very strong so far, as he did as well last season. One of our older teammates. Hedgehog is the one to look out for at the moment, in my opinion.
Definitely. I mean, he had a good showing last season. He was constantly, I think we kind of nicknamed him Mr. P4. Maybe not officially, but that's what I like to refer to him as, because he was he's one podium in Baku, and it was the one race where there wasn't podium interviews, and ever since then he was desperate to get one. He's also sitting very good with ERS, having a look through the field. They're all pretty good, to be fair. Which is nice to see. We're going to have fresh tyres, DRS for a couple of laps potentially, and full ERS. This will be brilliant. Absolutely. I was going to say, can we see this every week? But then I look across the left and see the amount of cars retired. Maybe not like that, but
yeah.
This sort of shootout. Panda as well pointing out in the chat that Hedgehog is in fact still in P4. maybe not everything changes, but he's got time to prove it. Greg, I backed him early on actually 2 laps ago, and I'd say he's maybe actually in a weaker position. Mark Wilson and Cammy managed to get in and out of the pits and get out on the fresh softs. This will be very, very interesting here.
Absolutely, we got 2 new starters leading the grid at the moment, both in the same team as well, in Williams. Absolutely amazing to see them. 2 Williams driver in front of 2 Aston Martin's driver. That would be absolutely amazing to see in real life. As MUFC, how we just picked up 3 seconds time penalty on under a safety car, which is something that you try to avoid. But once again, we're just here to enjoy the racing. It's just pre-season race, and will all come down to, as we do one more lap on a safety car, guys. Hang in there. We'll wait for Spider to catch up to the grid as well, and then we'll be able to see some more great racing.
Yeah, absolutely. One more lap. We should be going. That'll be lap 26, 27, 28. A 3 lap shootout. We might get DRS for the final lap. Down that back straight. That could be the difference maybe between who wins this race and loses. Looking at penalties, Cammy out in front with 3. Mark Wilson in second with 8. He'll be... the safety car
ERS.
Yeah, ERS is all full.
Spider has 3%. He's using it the entire time.
Oh, he's using it to try and catch up. Oh, that is severely going to hamper him.
A lot of pressure.
But yes, Mark Wilson with 8 seconds in P2 and Greg with 5 seconds in P3. So as it stands, Hedgehog only really needs to keep with them. It'll be interesting to see if he... and Spider Rob has been disqualified?
By too many penalties, I assume. I think his amount of seconds that he is allowed to receive per race as a time penalty has...
He's hit the limit. That's a shame to see. It is a tricky track with time limits, track limits for getting time penalties. So Spider Rob, I wouldn't be disheartened by that. It's it's a pre-season race as well. You're just trying to find your feet. But yeah, never something like to see.
Just hitting as well the chat with another one. Absolutely.
I'm getting vibe back to Belgium last season as the safety car is coming in this lap. Of course. A man that sadly won't be in the comments box this season, Pheasant Plucker, aka Danny Mac, a legend in the game, I've got to say. He gave me my little start as a co-commentator. I know he was your favourite co-commentator last season.
It's been a huge pleasure, a huge shout out to Mr. Pheasant the Plucker himself, Danny boy. He was a great main commentator, and his voice is just perfectly for commentating, in my opinion. And I'm very happy that I was able to do some commentating with him. But today it is with my dear friend Scott at the safety car restart here once more. We have the 2 Williams at the front, and we have Greg Skaven going for a dive bomb and just outbraking himself. Hedgehog taking a position away from Greg at the same time. We have Atomic as well, overtaking Snakebike, who has now to defend against MUFC Harvey into the S section. Will we see any overtake in the S section itself? MUFC Harvey's going side by side.
Brilliant move by Harvey there. Brilliant move round the outside at the end of the S's, then cutting back to the inside. That is exactly the things we want to see here. This is such a tight field with only 2.5 laps to go now. And it's MUFC Harvey. Atomic making the move on Greg. MUFC Harvey following them through.
3 wide. Is MUFC Harvey going to attack as well? We have got a 2 Whitey, Grex Gaming and Atomic side by side. And MUFC Harvey is going into the inside, a 3 wide into the turn. But a thing that looks really good for Harvey is doing a double overtake. Very impressive what we see from him so far. The Mercedes driver, and I think he had a Mercedes as well last season. As he said already, it's got very beautiful and impressive move from him. But we are keeping an eye as well on Hedgehog, trying to keep up with the two cars in front. Not quite, but Mark Wilson is just behind his teammate Wee Cammy, and we are approaching the penultimate lap here in the race in the pre-season of Season 5 of Cone Racing League, and we still got 22 viewers as well on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much as well, still being active with us, and Mark has to defend here. Hedgehog is making it really difficult, a lot of pressure, but I think there's something going on in the 5th place.
Yes, Greg is making a little move on Atomic into the S section. They were side by side for the first. Greg thinking better of it, just maybe wanting to say, right, I'll just finish this race here, not go for anything too audacious, but you'd imagine he'll be setting up a move later in the lap. We'll stick on board with this, and we'll also keep an eye on Hedgehog, because the other two looking to make a move. I think I'm going to jump across to Hedgehog as he is coming onto the back straight here. Interesting enough, this is going to be a brilliant battle, the last 2 laps for the lead. Wee Cammy in front, 2.9 seconds ahead of Hedgehog, but he has a 3-second time penalty. This is going to be a brilliant shootout on the last lap. Hedgehog probably needs to clear Mark Wilson and try and hunt down that time to get the win, but would he be just settled for P2? We'll wait and see. Greg as well.
To sprint race, absolutely.
Definitely. Could this be the way forward for CRL? Just sprint races every week. It's definitely livened things up anyway. As
Greg's gaming is getting so close to Atomic. Is he going to go into the penultimate turn? But no, he's going to go into the dive bomb into the last turn. No, he won't. Just staying behind Atomic and preparing his move onto the start and straight. But I think he's just a little bit too far away, or otherwise he's going to dive bomb. No, beautiful defending. But he goes a bit too wide.
Brilliant move by Greg there, just to make it work. He's a very patient man, just letting the move happen. And as that was going on, MUFC Harvey has got past Hedgehog. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but that has definitely jeopardised Hedgehog's chance of getting the win. Still on for a good podium here, but he'd be disappointed with himself in that. He's going to have a wonder of a sector 2 or 3, or hope for a Cammy slip up if he's going to have a chance of winning this race. Atomic though, closing in on Greg again. I don't know, is DRS disabled? DRS is enabled. He's got 33% ERS, and he's got an engine that can definitely unload the horsepower. He's going to have a move. Hedgehog seems to be having a look at Harvey further up the field, but we'll stick on board with Atomic. Slight contact with Greg, just a little touch, but makes the move done fairly clean. Greg, of course, might try and set something up in the switch background through the technical 3rd sector. Penalties are a big play here. They might not try too hard, but come on, we wouldn't be racing drivers if we didn't try and make a move. But we're going to jump back on board with Wee Cammy, who will cross the line in P1 to take the opening win of the CRL, even though if it is just pre-season for Season 5 CRC 4. Mark Wilson crossing in 2nd, MUFC Harvey crossing in 3rd, but Hedgehog jumping up to P2 with the penalties applied. MUFC Harvey actually jumping well down. That went very quick. I couldn't even keep up.
That was a absolutely very interesting end of the use. The American race here, and Beckham is just getting the driver of the day from the game. But more importantly, who is your driver of the day? At the same time, I'm just going to quickly invite our podium sitters here today.
Yeah, if you can get them in the party, we can have a little chat with them. I think, to be honest, my driver of the day, it is tough. I've got to give it to Wee Cammy though. He pulled off the 2-stop. He was off the finisher, the one that pitted the least. Starting on P14 and getting it to the win. Even with the 3-second time penalty, he managed it pretty well to pull out that gap on Hedgehog and Mark and Greg and Atomic. And I think he just had, for an opening race in CRL, what a name to make your way for yourself. Yeah. I shout out as well to Mark Wilson. First league race with us, same with Atomic. These guys are really showing the sort of class we can expect to see throughout this season, and I'm really looking forward to it. What about you though? Who would you go as your driver of the day?
I do think that Vikami has really shown his best side from today. It was very impressive from him, but his teammate as well, Mark Wilson, the two newcomers from for CRL in Tier 4 this season. I'll definitely keep an eye on them both, but I think Vikami was just slightly better than his teammate. But shout out as well to Hedgehog P2 this time, Mr. P4.
Exactly, up on the podium. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. He's just actually sent me a private message asking if there is an interview.
Yes.
You can tell the boy's desperate for one, and I think it's well deserved.
Absolutely, as we can just hear ourselves in the party as well. Welcome. How are you feeling after this amazing race?
Absolutely, a good result though in your first outing for CRL P3. You'll be happy with that.
That was a bit of an interesting one.
Of course, is that Vikami our race winner here?
It was interesting to say the least. I started on the softs when I couldn't decide on what strategy to go with, and then when that safety car came out, I was like, yeah, went early with the mediums, mate, and I just went and held on to them. Raced. I didn't race too hard. Try to keep them in good nick, and yeah, worked quite well.
Absolutely, very impressive as well, considering that the two of you were actually qualifying on a lower position, but then made the move through the entire field there. So well done, congratulations. How were the first few laps, and from your side of view? Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. We cannot hear you guys. If you would like to activate your voice as well in the party, as usual, one of our most common meme here. There's no sound from you guys. If you don't mind activating your party.
I think that is you, because mine is always allowed, because I used to make YouTube videos. Go on party settings. And,
well, we saw that out.
They can hear Cammy.
They can hear Cammy, right?
Yeah. Party settings, allow your voice to be shared and put always allow on. So this, I mean, hopefully this happens a lot more this season, but yeah.
I think as well, while we sort that out, we should get a little chat with our P2, a man that I know has been desperate to be interviewed since March last year. Or this year anyway. Hedge, how does it feel to get a podium?
You know what, honestly, like, I'm gutted. I'm so upset because, obviously you know, Scott, more than anyone, how much I wanted a podium. This is weird, you know. Fair play to the Williams boys for a start, because they pushed us all the way. Shout out to Greg, my teammate, he was unbelievable tonight. He was unlucky not to get a podium himself, but no, to qualify in second is weird for me, because I'm only qualifying in 15th.
Yep.
Upset not to get pole, because I slipped up right at the end, but I think that's a good thing for me to be gutted with that. And then, yeah, I spun twice in the same corner, and then right at the end, MUSE Harding made this mad move on me in turn 1, which cost me probably the win, but yeah, I'm happy. I'm content.
Yeah, very impressive the Hatch, as the Mr. P4 taking the podium finish as a P2 now, just dividing his usual result there. Congratulations from my side as well. We had just a few more comments as well in the chat that your voice was a little bit too quiet right now, but I think the chat is never really happy, so let's just ignore this, and then you guys can just turn up the volume. Very impressive. There were some pretty nasty moves there as well, weren't they? from you, Hedge.
Yeah, I mean, Harvey on me at the end. Harvey had like 21 seconds of pen, so why he's winning for that move, I don't know. We all know that, but literally nearly took me out.
I see that.
United fan, I'm a City, that might be why.
I see that in my mirror.
And then I was behind Mark on the restart, and me and Greg was in a party together, and I said, Greg, let me pass. I knew that obviously Cammy only had 3 seconds, and I tried to keep him 3 seconds, and he just
See, I'll be honest here. We done the same. We were in the same party, and as soon as Mark got that other time penalty, I literally was like, "Look, man, do it for the team, mate. If you can drive defensively and try and slow them down while I go for it." And he done that, and then when that move was made on you and you went a bit wide and lost that time, Mark just literally put the foot down and was right up my back again, and yeah, it was pretty intense, to be honest. I mean, when I was on those mediums for so long. Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Hopefully it carries on all season, but it's weird for me to be starting talking. I never get podiums. But even the college, like to get a P2 and get qualifying, like it was bizarre for me because like last season I was starting like 15th in most races. So I'll take it. It's not bad.
Absolutely, very well, and congratulations to everyone as well. As we can all hear, everyone is very excited. I assume to properly start the season. Unfortunately, or maybe luckily for a few people, we don't have USA on the proper calendar. Otherwise, there would be just a fiesta of time penalties, as we had last year. But what do you guys think of the calendar? What is your expectation? Let's start with the winner, Cammy. What is your expectation?
Well, when I signed up, I got asked what my 2 favourite tracks were, and that was Australia and Monaco, and neither are in there, so I cried at Monaco. And yeah, I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Just got to race and race clean and fair and try my best. And at the end of the day, I done the trial kind of on America last night, and also the challenge that was online for the podium pass. And I was literally like, I instantly hate this track. But after today, I don't really feel the same. To be honest, I think it's not that bad.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Mark? What is your expectation now? But by the way, as well to two of you, and now in person, welcome to CRL, to Cammy and Mark, who is now on the mic. Mark, what?
Can you hear me now, guys? Am I all clear now?
I think we're all good. Jacob will let us
Yes,
know.
I just double-checked that you're all good to go. Yes.
Oh, that's good. I'm not looking forward to Japan. Let's put it that way. Or China.
Let's take that one.
I don't like them 2 tracks, but I think the start of the season will be good. Great, with Britain, France, and Holland. I think they'll be good. And ending it strong with Russia and Brazil as well. But I think it's going to be a tough mid-season for me, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. It's all about collecting the points as well.
I'm going to collect the points early on, hopefully, and then let my teammate do the work.
Oh God!
This is how the team works. One is a team, the other one does the work. Absolutely. And Scott, I'll leave you the honor as well for the last question to Hedge.
Oh, Hedge, my good friend Hedge. How are you feeling about the calendar, mate? Obviously last season, you're first in CRL. You had a little bit of a nightmare in quali, we must admit. But your race pace was tremendous, picking up P4 in the championship. You must have a little bit of confidence.
I think if I was going into this last season like blind, and I've never raced before up until last season, and then the 3 lads who beat me last season, in fairness, were unreal, weren't they? They were just ridiculous to take J Multi to say 2, for example, now, so like, fair play to them. I'd be a bit concerned when we look at the calendar at a few circuits, but like, recently my best results have come on tracks that I don't like. Like I did the pace test with you, Scott, didn't I?
Yes, of course, around France, yep.
Got second in USA, and then Baku last year, I've been going into Baku, probably the worst circuit of the calendar, I got second, so I'm just going to go into every race with the same sort of expectations, keep practicing, and I mean, I'm confident I'm here to win it this year. But I'm sure these 2 in the Williams will fight me amongst others.
Nah, mate. I don't do any of that. I just sit at the back of the grid, mate, like a true Williams driver.
That's normally me.
Coming from the
that's it,
first
it's funny.
news interview now as well on the podium.
Obviously starting in Britain. Starting in Britain at home turf's nice as well. I had a shocker in Britain last year, but we're going to start well if you know. It's a nice track to start on. To be fair, my three favourite circuits are all at the end. Bahrain, Russia and Brazil are three of my favourites. So hopefully at the end I'm in the mix and I can get some good results there. But yeah, I'm just going to go into it. Yeah, I'm just going to go into every race with the same. Just see what happens and hopefully me and Greg can do it.
Absolutely. Exciting days coming up. First race, I can't wait to see you guys once again on track as well. And I think next time we'll have a different commentator as well. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be it from our side for today. A massive thank you to everyone who is still in the chat as well and texting. For example, Daniel, a lot of love for coming from you towards the Williams guys. Congratulations from Daniel Brewers in the chat as well.
I'll tell you what, that's my girlfriend.
Oh!
That's why she's giving us love.
Amazing. The support from the family and the love.
I think this first time she's given me that much love in ages.
I guess then you have to race a bit more often then.
Yeah, I'm going to have to race a bit better next time, I think, and win it.
Wonderful. And I'll leave the last little word then from my partner, my friend, Scott, the free fall himself, to finish up this race. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, I can just sort of echo what you've said there, Steiny. Thank you, the drivers, for racing today, and everybody that signed up. I think we're on for a very good season here on CRC4. Again, everybody that's tuned in tonight to watch, I think you'll agree that there are some high caliber drivers in this tier this year, as there normally is, and I think we're in for an intense battle like we got last year between Jay Wills and Ryan Mills. Probably, with these three in the mix, I like to hope, if this is what they proved. But, I'll leave it at that. I'd like to sign off. I've been CRL Freefall, this has been CRL Cone Racing League, and we will see you on Thursday night for Tier 1, 2 and 3. Tier 1 kicking off at 8:30 BST, and Tier 2 and 3 kicking off at 7:30 BST. And then after that we will see you next week with me and Steiny, or maybe Jay Wills, or maybe someone else. I'm not too sure yet. But we'll be back 8 PM next Monday for the first round of CRC Tier 4 round Silverstone in the British Grand Prix. Goodbye, and have a good night to everybody that's still here.